Thank you. I'm here today for two reasons. My twin girls, Jenny and Hannah. And I want them to grow up to have a real voice in our government, and if you want that too, then you should vote yes on S379. We know how the convention process works. There have been hundreds of state-level conventions and dozens of conventions called under the U.S. Constitution. 13 states called them under Article 7 to ratify the Constitution, and another 39 called them under Article 5 to ratify the 21st Amendment. Up until that point, that procedure had never been used in the first century and a half of the American history. And while most state-level conventions are true constitutional conventions that have broad power, there are actually a few states that have a more analogous system to the federal system that has very limited power, where they have amendment conventions and even limited conventions. Florida, in particular, holds an amendment convention every 10 years, alternating between a limited versus an open convention, and they're actually meeting right now. The precedent that we have in this has shown us a system of checks and balances that forms a safety net held up by four pillars: the states, the Congress, the convention, and the courts. The states have the ultimate check. Ratification requires not 34 states, but 38. That means that at a minimum, you need a full quarter of the 16 states that never even asked for the convention to agree with the 34 states that did. This 75% bar ensures that even popular amendments cannot be ratified unless they are overwhelmingly popular and nonpartisan. Next, states have the authority to directly instruct their delegates. And finally, bills like S379 include specific limitations, just as nearly every convention call has since the 1788 call that demanded the Bill of Rights. The courts have also formed an effective safeguard in the Florida Limited Convention, and at the federal level, while respecting the authority of the states and Congress, they have not shied away from stepping in when those bodies have exceeded their constitutional mandates. Finally, Congress has a role to play, first with the power to choose the mode of ratification, which can only be used on lawfully proposed amendments. And they also have the duty to count these convention calls. They are constitutionally required to call a convention upon application of 34 states. I have here in front of me 80 active convention calls from 35 different states that have already been officially counted by Congress, but they've not yet called a convention. That's because they're on different topics, different applications, literally here in front of you, separate piles. You can't choose some from column A and some from column B. We're here today to talk about Wolf-PAC's pile. It has no bearing on the number of states that have called conventions because Massachusetts is already on this list. It also has no bearing on the total in any of the other piles. There is no reason, if you support this policy, not to add to this pile and this pile alone.